We're all working to the same system, which means that we can just look on screen and all the information is there for us at a glance.
We still have the same amount of contact with the DSO. Any problems that we have within ourselves or with a service user, the first line of contact is the DSO.
We did have fears as a team prior to the scheduling system, however those fears have been unfounded.
And the contribution that the roster can make to a more efficient service has been recognised by us all.
We looked to implement a system that would enable us to maintain the high quality of our care service. StaffPlan Roster was selected as it has been designed to support a more efficient and higher quality service for adult home care. DSOs, home carers and service users will all benefit from this enhanced method of working, with improved organisation and more information. A pilot scheme was set up in Erewash and has run with a team of 5 DSOs for 14 months. We closely monitored and evaluated the system's performance throughout the scheme in preparation for its implementation across the whole department.
As part and parcel of the evaluation, we wanted to look closely at the impact that StaffPlan had had on our ability to programme effectively. We took a 7-month period in 2006 before we'd gone live on StaffPlan and compared the data from that with 7 months after we'd gone live across all 5 patches. And the results of that were very interesting.
We looked at the savings for 3 areas. The costs for staff working on days off for the whole county showed a drop of 27%. For Erewash, it was 84%. The costs for staff working over 37 hours a week for the whole county showed a drop of 6%. For Erewash, it was 72%. Travel costs for the whole county showed a drop of 4%. For Erewash, it was 14%.
All this data showed us is that what we've managed to achieve through StaffPlan Roster is to reduce our costs. This helps us preserve our services in an ever more competitive market. It also enables staff, our care staff, to have a better work-life balance because we're not calling on them so often to work on their days off.
We've been holding regular surveys during the implementation of StaffPlan Roster, issuing questionnaires or holding interviews with service users, DSOs, home carers and other staff. Some very encouraging comments were made in the last survey that work programmes had improved. Staff are now rating the efficiency with which they're doing their work as either quite or very efficient, which is very encouraging. Service users really like being issued a weekly work programme showing who's due to visit and when. It has been a period of transition, but the roster is settling in now that initial problems have been ironed out, and the contribution that the roster can make to a more efficient service has been recognised by us all.
Of course, the key to any new system is how well it has been received by the staff that had to learn and operate it. We asked some of the DSOs and carers for their opinions of StaffPlan Roster.
Well, before the system was introduced, of course, with it being called a computerised system, our concerns were that we'd be losing contact with our home carers and also the service users and the needs of them. But as it turns out, it's working. We've got it working really, really well, and the contact is just as good as it ever was, both with the carers and the service users.
IT skills were sort of limited beforehand. I was using a system mixture of paper and Excel spreadsheets, so although I had skills, they were quite limited, and it was the not knowing what skills you'd need really until the system was introduced.
Before the scheduling system, I was absolutely petrified of using the computer. However, we have an easy to follow step-by-step guide that takes you through all the processes.
The programme of work actually tells us which service users we'll be visiting, also the time that we will visit them, and what actual care they actually need, as in personal care, medication or meal preparation. We also have the telephone number of the service user in case we're running late, and we also have details of access to use, whether it be the back door or the front door.
The impact that StaffPlan's had on travel time has been quite good. It's helped decrease the amount of travel time between calls for the carers. There's a built-in mapping system within the system which helps to make sure that they're not travelling unreasonable distances and leaves more time for the caring and the hands-on work to be done.
It's very useful if you have a new service user. It tells you a lot of information about the service user before you actually go in and see them.
When the auto allocation process is run, then you can have a good look through, see what the system has done with all the work that needs covering. Any decisions that you're not happy with can be altered, and the final decisions always lie with the DSO as to who does what, so you're not losing control of what your staff are doing.
I found the system really good because I find that it frees me up to do all the other things, because once the auto-allocate process is done and all the checking and everything's been done, then that's it. The rest of the week then I'm freed up then to do all the other things that I need to do.
The contact with the DSO has not changed any difference since the new system. We still get in touch with the sickness, holidays and contact with her if we've got any problems with our service users. Our rest day free days are on a 6-monthly rota, and we know which days we're having off. If they need to be changed, our DSO rings us to ask us if we would change them, or if we need to change them, we ring the DSO and she will do so.
When I want to book annual leave, it's just the same as before. I usually give 2 weeks notice, maybe a little bit longer in the summertime, but nothing's changed, it's just the same as before.
Well, the system logs each time a carer has visited a service user, and it keeps a record of that. And because we've set it to go for continuity, it will pick the same carers wherever possible to ensure that that service user gets the continuity that we require.
I still see the same service users that I used to go to, and it's quite good actually, because you get to know them and they get to know you.
The system has been very helpful to us as regards contract hours, because it will identify if somebody is under the contract hours, and also it won't let us give work to people who are reaching or have come over the contract hours on a weekly basis. It also helps greatly with forward planning, because you can put all your dates for anything, be it annual leave or training, can all be put onto the system in plenty of time, and then it's there for whenever it's needed.
With this new scheduling, it's enabled me to meet my own family commitments. Nothing's changed, it's still the same as before, where I'm able to take my children to school and to pick them up.
It's helped for me to work more efficiently, because all the information is within one place. It's all held in one place. There's no need for separate files for service users, for staff. Everything's at hand when you need it, and you've got a clear view of what's happening at any time that you need that information.
I think the service has improved for service users greatly, because now they have information about not only who's coming to them in the daytime, but also in the evenings and at weekends. And it also makes sure that they're getting the most appropriate person for their needs, and also for continuity of care.
We've developed very well as a team. We were close before, but we feel that this has brought us closer. There's been days when we've shouted and we've slammed things down, but we all know that we don't take it personally, and if one of us don't know anything, then there's somebody else to ask. And we all work. We have this saying, if you cut one of us, then we all bleed.
The next stage for us is to roll out StaffPlan Roster throughout the county, and we're going to be doing that throughout 2008. We believe we can see real benefits from introducing this scheduling software. It will help us to achieve best practice. It offers DSOs a much better overview of the work their staff are doing. And we've seen that the views of service users are that they are still satisfied with the service that we're providing. We really believe that this is the best product for us, and that by introducing it throughout Derbyshire, we will continue to maintain our position as a top-class provider of home care services.